well.
Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Ahman Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on Packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. You can email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. You can text us 865-658-5824. Join alongside Emilio in Tennessee. We got Tim in Green Bay, and we got a special guest tonight, the president, CEO of Meat Missile Incorporated, Jacob the Beard. Jacob, so you have the floor.
Here's the guy.
Yeah, man, it's been a while. I apologize for my absence. It is great to be back in the PTA posse. What's up to everybody in the chat? Oh, look at, hey, what's up, guys? Apologize if I didn't respond to anybody in some DMs that were sent. Just going through some stuff, switch jobs, switch careers, did a whole bunch of stuff. But I'm back and I'm ready. And I think it's the perfect time to come back because we've got a lot to talk about. I know that's for sure.
Yeah, we definitely do, man. As the playoffs are right around the corner. Obviously,
we don't talk playoffs here. You know Matt's rule, Clayton. One day at a time. Come on now.
I apologize.
Playoffs?
So obviously the chat's lit up. Everybody here, Prince in the chat says, "Hey, Jacob, all cocks all the time here." That's right. Christian says the beard is back. Venom / it's a miracle. Jacob is back. Larry Cano, the beard is back. And Brett McFarley says no apologies, sir. So there you go. All right, Ron Samble, welcome back, Jacob. So obviously, this is the welcome back tour for Jacob the Beards. We're going to get in here and talk some Packers Saints and dive into all the news around the Packers that came down the pike today. Obviously, we got a new injury report and getting ready for this big matchup here on Monday night. Love to see the Packers go out and take care of business, that's for sure. But before we get into everything, let's do this. Let's give a quick shout-out to the good folks over at Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access Live. Wisconsin-based since '92, specializing in Packers tickets. They're Wisconsin's largest ticket source with offices next to Lambeau and in Milwaukee. Click on the link in the video description. They'll send you to their website, theticketking.com, where you can register for free as a customer. Go ahead and start shopping for your Packers tickets. Again, they are the most trusted ticket source for Packers tickets. That's Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access Live. All right, let's just kind of dive into it, guys. Anybody got anything right off the top that y'all want to hit on before we kind of take a walk around Twitter and then possibly do a PFF preview of Packers Saints? Anything on the forefront of y'all's mind?
Yeah, welcome back, Beard. Love you, brother. Good to see you, man. Glad you're back and ready to talk some ball, dude. That's all.
Happy to be going 4 wide again for sure.
Yes, sir. Let's go.
Thick. Hey, guys.
All right, let's get into it, man. Let's just jump onto Twitter real quick as we hit on a little bit of this earlier today, but got some more updates, obviously, with the new injury report dropping. Paul Brettel tweeted out, LaFleur says potentially when asked about Musgrave playing this week, as he's looked pretty good this week. So we kind of hit on it earlier today, guys. There's a chance that Luke Musgrave will play this Monday night.
Musgrave stayed on his feet.
That 21-day window opened up, I think, roughly 8-9 days ago. So it's either going to be this week or next week, obviously, or they got to shut him down and put him on IR for the rest of the year, including the playoffs. So I think there's a decent chance we see Musgrave this week. If we do, you would think it would probably be in a limited role, right?
Oh, yeah, I would think so. Probably a few reps, right? Get him going. Emilio, you touched on that a little bit, right? Maybe get him involved in some of the pass sets, and kind of just pepper him in here and there. But, not too much too soon, but you definitely want to get his wheels turning again.
Right. I think Matt was talking about that in his presser. It was kind of along the lines of, hey, yeah, we want to have him back, obviously, if he's ready to go, but it's not going to be in a crazy amount role. We gotta ease him back into it, take it easy. Tucker was talking about it in his presser. It's something different when you're pressing on your ankle. You got to commit to it. I never had an ankle that, knock on wood, I was good with that, but the knee, you got to trust it. So he's just happy to be back out there, got to shake his hand, and it'll be nice to have that speed out there. And I know he can block, but we'll get there.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
You got anything to add to the Luke Musgrave news here, man? Obviously, Tucker Kraft has kind of made us say, yeah, Luke who, right? but could be a role player for sure.
Yeah, like Emilio touched on, I did go and watch their pressers today, and Matt said, it's not. He said potentially it's not like we're going to give him a crazy. What do you say? We're not giving him 70 snap counts or anything like that. And then to reiterate what Emilio said, Tucker in his press conference, they asked him what was it like having Luke back in. He said it was cool. We said in the huddle first time, just looked across, shook his hand, and said, "Welcome back," kind of like you ready to go.
Yeah.
And those two have been, kind of interchangeable. It seems like when one hurts, the other's not, and it's been that way since they started. And I know I don't want to speak for anybody here, but I was very excited about Musgrave's potential, and I was very surprised at how Tucker Kraft has just become an all-around. I mean, is it crazy to say he's a top 3 tight end in the league right now? I mean,
I don't think it is.
As far as all around, well-rounded tight ends, he can block, he can catch, he can, yak. It's pretty impressive.
I think that's completely fair. Jacob, did you hear Steno when they asked him about the percentage of how often they've both been on the field, like per play? Did you hear him say that?
I did not.
They basically asked him, Steno, how long or how much do you think in the past 2,000 snaps that we've had the past 2 seasons they've been on the field together? And he said maybe 15%. It was 125 snaps, right around like 6%. So not even cracked a surface of what that could be of those being on the field. I know, just being excited about him with that.
Yeah, definitely. Brett McFarley in the chat says Kraft yak and cheese. That's right, baby, in full effect. I think if someone says Tucker Kraft's the top 3 tight end, it's hard for me to argue with that. I would definitely put him in the top 10. Feel real comfortable about saying top 5. Top 3 might be a little rich for me at the moment, but I can understand it. I can, because again, man, when you look at all the numbers, you're looking at touchdown catches, you're looking at availability and accountability. We talk about those things. It's absolutely huge. His yak ability, he showed sure hands last year, only dropping 1 pass, and I think that finally came in the playoffs, if I remember correctly. It might not have even been credited as a drop. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for a guy who can block. You're looking for a guy with strong hands. And that yak ability with the way that Matt LaFleur draws up this passing game is huge. Just having him helping the pass pro and then leak out underneath after you stretch the field vertically is just absolutely dominates for sure. So,
how about it? And the fact that he's 23 or whatever he is, 24.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
Little baby, just a baby.
Just a little baby. All right, Tim, if you could give me a screen grab, like for the presser here or something like that, or just any screen grab would be fine. Give me a Matt LaFleur, as a matter of fact. I think it's Matt LaFleur talking on this. All right, if you would, sir.
It's pronounced Tupac LaFleur.
I apologize. Go right ahead with that. All right, so this was tweeted out by 97.3 The Game, and I was a little worried that maybe the video would trigger something, so we want to give full credit to them. This was an interview that was done. I think it was Matt Schneidman doing a one-on-one interview with Matt LaFleur. It's just about a minute long, and this is Matt talking about Jeff Hafley and how he's approached obviously leading this defense here in 2024. Here's Coach LaFleur.
Evaluate the job Jeff Hafley has done with his defense just throughout the course of the season in all aspects, not just last game, but, I think you guys are top 10 in yards per play, scoring defense, takeaways, sacks. How do you think he's done overall?
I think he's done an outstanding job. And I think what the mark of a good coach to me is, can you keep evolving and are your players improving? And I think that's what we're seeing, especially defensively. It's year 1 of a new system. There's going to be a learning curve. We have a couple young players that are rookies that are contributing quite a bit. And so naturally the expectation is that they're going to get better throughout the course of the season. I think we're seeing that. So it's not just Hafley, it's our whole defensive staff, how they've come and are working together and maximizing our players' ability and putting them in good positions to have success.
I love it, man. And the way that he has gotten creative, you can drop it down there, Tim. Appreciate you, buddy. The way that he's gotten creative with the pass rush too, right? And we talked about it. In some cases, he's really just only rushing 3, although he's got 4 in the pass rush. 1 is kind of lagging back and playing that spy. And then obviously simulating the pressure, especially with the double barrel looks, and then dropping guys out with the fire zone blitz, specifically the defensive end. So he's typically firing a Will or a Mike and then has the other drop into coverage with a defensive end. It's really been awesome. We looked at the sack numbers earlier this morning. Me and Tim did a morning show, and we're top 10 in sacks, and we're like bottom 5 in amount of blitzes that we've caught, at like 18% blitz rate, meaning you're getting all this pressure with a 4-man rush. and it's really wild to think about. So just want to go around the horn with that. What do you guys think about what Coach LaFleur? We'll start with you, Jacob. Coach LaFleur, and what he had to say with Jeff Hafley and how he's kind of evolved as the season's gone along here, man.
Yeah, I mean, I've been, obviously I haven't been able to update it week to week like you guys have. So I think maybe it is kind of worth looking at it through a fan's perspective that maybe, it's been, what has it been, almost 6-7 weeks now where I haven't really talked with you guys about it. But the progression from the start of the season to the end, I just really think is really noticeable when you take a step back and look at it from 30,000 feet or whatever. And I think that Hafley wasn't blowing smoke up our whats when he started this. What did he say? I want to play a simplistic game. I want to make it so these guys are playing fast and that they're just reacting and that they're going to be able to then, they're not in their head, they're not worrying about 70,000 different schemes and situations. I'm going to give them, this is the playbook. It's going to be thin, it's concise. Go out there and be absolute ballers. I think we've seen that, especially with our young guys. I'd argue, again, we haven't had updates week to week, but I've seen from the start to the end, guys like Kingsley Enagbari, LVN, guys, Wyatt, even Brooks at times, seeing him, CV, certain guys that have taken steps where we needed them to take steps. And they don't have to be massive steps. We don't ask you to jump in and be a blue chip, elite player, but to maybe step from being a 50 PFF guy to a 60 or a mid 60s, a low 70s. I think we've seen that. I think they trust the system, and I'm excited, man. I mean, I didn't know too. Emilio, did you by chance get to see Half's press conference when they asked him about his relationship with Campanelli and about how they had been friends for like 15 years and how it just was perfect that this mixed up at the same time where they both had a chance to get with the Packers organization? It's just, I think that people have bought in and we're seeing the fruition. I think that as going into the playoffs, we're peaking at the right time.
Right. Yeah. Hafley was talking about how, every time I picked up the phone, he would answer. He was one of those friends. They've known each other for, like you said, 15 years plus. So, and he was texting him on the plane ride back or the bus ride back or whatever they were saying. How cool is it that it actually has come to the fact of, we talked about this, you probably had dinners over it throughout the years. Hey, what happens if we were ever to coach together? What would we do? What would this team be? And you're starting to see it come together. We've talked before about the speedier defense is set from your linebackers out. The middle of that defense is where you pick up your speed, and and like to Jacob's point, in the beginning of the season, this team was just learning a new defense. We thought it would be quick and easy from the 3-4, or not us, but so some other people had thought that it would be quick and easy. Coming out here, you're learning a new set, being able to play fast and free as the team's gotten throughout the season, gotten better, learned it, picked it up. Jacob's point: fast, physical, quick to the ball, everyone's moving. If you're not in the frame when we pause it, you get off the field kind of thing. Like, that's where we need everybody to be hustle wise and playing. And Hafley was excited with the defense and where they're at. Honestly, they're really expanding, their ability.
I agree 100%. I mean, you see the chemistry there from, the staff all the way down to the players, right? I mean, you talk about, Coach Camp and Coach Haff's relationship. Look at Matt LaFleur and Jeff Hafley's relationship. And then you bring Bob Saleh in as a consultant, and you just see things start to kind of click. And I think the biggest difference between, the Joe Barry defense and the Jeff Hafley defense is when it comes to the pass rush. I think Hafley's more focused on how do we find success as a unit, not just as individuals, not, hey, who do I dial up and send on this one? It's, if I'm going to rush an extra guy, who's doing what on the back end. We talked about some of this catch man that we've seen on occasion. We've talked about Tampa 2 peppered in there, and you see what the D-line group does, occupying a blocker while, one or two other guys get in and rush the passer. This is everybody bought in, from, probably the person answering the phones at 1265 all the way down to, your guys on the field and everyone in between. And it really is. If we make a move left, who's moving to cover the right, who's stepping up when we're falling back, who's coming up, vice versa. Everything is kind of in unison as opposed to a scheme where maybe we were trying to find the right personnel and highlight someone individually. I see this as a collective unit defensively, especially when it comes to the pass rush.
Could I ask you guys a question?
Yeah, man.
If you would have forced me to make a hypothesis at the beginning of the year, I think we did cover this quite a lot. If the fact that the cornerback room would be our biggest hindrance. I would have thought that even maybe halfway through the season with the injuries to Jair. Are you guys as impressed as I am that somehow I don't see that as our glaring weak? I mean, if we had a weakness, it's probably going to be the one that is the most definitive, but it's not like it's glaring. It's not like these guys haven't held their own. Am I mistaken? Am I overspeaking when I say that? Because even guys like Stokes, I know we love to pile on Stokes, Valentine, but I feel like with all things considered, they have stepped up. And what do we know? Like, we're a top 10, aren't we? Passing defense. I mean,
top 10 in EPA per drop back in the passing game. You're top 10 in running defense. You're top 10 in scoring defense. You're top 10, really top 5, probably still top 3 in takeaways all the way across the board. I think you hit the nail on the head.
Someone's getting a tattoo pretty soon.
Shoot. Let's go ahead and get that banner. Let's get that banner changed real quick.
Did you see it, Chris?
Yeah,
Chris
we should put that one up.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so here's the banner. Here's the ticker. Costco has some good tequila. That's Coach.
Here we go. If the Packers have a top 7 scoring defense, quote, I'll get an Emilio tattoo on my left butt cheek. PTA Jacob. Welcome back, Jacob. Receipt on the bottom of the screen for you.
Can I change it to at least a tramp stamp so that if I want to show it off, I don't want to go to jail. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know, man. I think I would choose the left butt cheek over the tramp stamp. I don't know about all that. This is my favorite right here, Tim.
Wash your hands, wash your butt, man. That's it. That's all.
They're winning 14 games, boys. Book it. PTA.
Hey, we went out. We're there, correct?
Hey, look at this Osco take. 3rd and Wicks, PTA Clayton. That's been gone.
Nice cold.
So, all right. Jordan Taylor with this comment says, can we talk about the fact that no team even tries to throw deep on us? X.
Yes.
Yeah. Again, when you put a post safety back there that's played the way that Xavier had, they tried it early. You guys remember they tried it early, and that did not go well, right? Offensive coordinator started looking at the tape and going, me no like you that, Jan.
Yeah.
Xavier McKinney was just taking the ball away every single game. Now, there's a lot of other aspects to this defense that, like Tim mentioned, you don't have as much cover 7, right? We've really toned back the cover 7, and you don't hear me use that term very often because it's just cover 3 match, cover 6 match is known as cover 7, essentially, okay? When you start to mix and match man principles into a zone defense, that's where you're getting into the Nick Saban approach to playing defense and playing, obviously pass coverage. You've got the box and the triangle. We'll mention that from time to time. All that's encompassed within the Nick Saban defense, which was actually born in Cleveland with Bill Belichick and him when they were with the Cleveland Browns in the early 90s. Okay, so it's evolved over the years. Now you got like the cover 9 as well. Cover 9 is real simple. Cover 9 is just cover 6 with the half side, the cover 2 side being on the nickel back side. That's all that is. That's all cover 9 is. Okay, so
that's a nickel defensive back, not Jacob's favorite band of all time.
Exactly right.
They're a good band.
Yeah. You get that tattooed on the right butt.
Nickelback and Emilio.
But yeah, as far as teams not throwing on a steep, I think they tried it early and obviously had to adjust. And listen, it's not to say that it won't come back and someone may not attempt it, right? But the main thing, our bread and butter this year has been double A gap mug and playing Tampa 2 out of that look. And it has just thrown offensive coordinators for a loop.
And to Jacob's point too, like, you're getting cornerback play from Valentine and Stokes that, is above expectations. I think everyone expected Stokes to be horrible this year. And at the very least, he's not horrible. And I'll take that. Same thing with Valentine. Valentine stepped up. We've seen Keyshawn play better on the boundary in the absence of Jair. And that's like an added cherry on top, man, when it comes to this defense. And like Jordan's saying here in the comment, like nobody wants to air it out against the Packers secondary. They just don't.
It's true, man. It's true.
All right.
Love the adjustments they've made. No doubt about it, man. They've go ahead, Jake.
I was just going to say, are you guys' relationship with Keyshawn like mine, where it's, I can't stand Keyshawn. Next play, Keyshawn's pretty good. And then next play, it's like, he's a really good returner. And the next play, it's like, get Keyshawn off the field. And then he makes a great play. And I'm like, told you he's good in there.
Yeah. Now, with Keyshawn, I think he's been exactly what we expected. Like, it was a guy that you're signing arguably the best returner in the game. And you've got a pretty high floor on slot corner. What surprised me is he's played better on the outside than he has in the slot. So it's like, we might have stumbled onto something here. And you've already got him under contract next year. So we're sitting here talking about, hey, you need to go get a corner. You need to go get a corner. If Jair does return next year and he is healthy, him and Nixon on the outside with Bullard in the slot, Evan Williams and X at safety, I feel really good about that. And that doesn't mean you don't go get another one, right?
Yeah.
But you really don't feel the need to go replace Stokes as you let him walk into free agency, because obviously you didn't pick up the fifth-year option. Now there's a chance that Stokes goes out there and the market's ice cold, and he might come back for pennies on the dollar as a Packer. I'm okay with that, him as a backup role type guy. What I'm not okay with, though, is obviously extending him to top cornerback money, even top 32 cornerback money, right? Because I feel like Nixon has played much better. We haven't even talked about Carrington Valentine, who's coming off of his career game. Like that
7th round draft pick, Carrington Valentine.
So you're talking about the G of the week?
Yeah, exactly. How cool was that, too? We're going to get to that here in a minute. We'll definitely touch on that. So, matter of fact, let's just kind of jump back into Twitter real quick. As Matt Schneidman tweeted out, Josh Jacobs has 8 rushing touchdowns in the last 4 games. How many more does he have in store for Monday night? I said 2. I said 2 tutters on Monday night. What's your all's prediction for Josh Jacobs? How many touchdowns he may or may not score here on Monday night? What are we thinking, boys? Let's go around the horn with it.
Do they all have to be rushing?
Don't have to be, no.
I'll give him a hat trick. Sure.
Oh,
I'll
nice.
take a 3-piece. I'll take 2 on the ground, one on a screen or a swing pass, maybe.
I'm gonna go with my gut. I'm gonna say one on the ground, 1 through the air.
Okay.
1 on the ground, 1 through the air. Okay, got it.
Yeah, that was Tim stole my answer there, but if I'm not mistaken, he only still has 1 receiving touchdown. So I think
Right.
I'm gonna flip the script. He's gonna have 2 receiving touchdowns.
Ooh, nice.
Wow. Don't even see it coming. They had the worst rush defense ever, and we're just going to swing it out to be
Yeah.
let them go to town.
Watch, they get the worst rush defense in the league, and we're going to give him the ball 6 times, and he'll, you know what I mean, catch 8 passes. That's what will happen, right? So again, pretty cool to see the snow. Obviously, they get the field cleared off with the snow. There's seen it piled up in the parking lot earlier today, but the guys getting ready for Monday night is going to be awesome. And it seems like the snow chance for Monday night is increasing every time we check it. It seems like it's going up a couple of percent. So I think you will see some flurries come Monday night for sure. So I hope that's the case.
As long as I don't have to shovel my driveway again, I'll be okay.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So Matt Schneidman also tweeted out, Rich Bisaccia loves Edgerrin Cooper, was one of Green Bay's special teams players of the game in Seattle with 3 tackles on kickoff coverage. We didn't even talk about that all week, the fact that he got 3 special teams tackles. And it goes on to say 3 tackles and kickoff coverage in addition to winning NFC Defensive Player of the Week. So we haven't even hit on that yet either, guys. He says Bisaccia said Cooper's nickname is Frosty. Quote, you can ask him if he wants to tell you why. What do we think that is, guys? What do we think? Why do you think they call him Frosty? Because, that's like a military term, too. We're going Frosty, right? I mean, it's like it's about to hit the fan, right? Basically what it means. What do you guys think? Why do you think they call him Frosty for, man?
I think we'd have to ask him. I don't know.
I know it.
Uh-oh. Go ahead, Jacob.
It's because he is a Sub-Zero frozen meat missile, all right? which is more lethal,
Right.
Heard it from a fan right here.
Yeah.
It's more lethal. It cuts deeper.
But even when he tried to say it the second time, he brought it up again. Yeah, Frosty, and then he was about to say it, and then he goes, "Yeah, Frosty." All right. So I mean, I honestly don't know. I don't even know if we'll get it out of Edgerrin, to be honest with you.
Right. Well,
we're definitely not going to get it out of Rich, right? He already said, you're going to have to ask him. So
you're an amazing person. You know that, don't you?
I did like how he was telling him though, like, no, he had 4 tackles. I'll grade the tackles. You write on your paper over there. He had me laughing when he was talking to the reporters with that.
J. Cole says, cue the Halloween music. I love it.
We would, but we don't want the copyright strike.
That's exactly right. Believe me, we've gotten our fill of those over the last 12 months. I promise.
We'll just put that back up there real quick.
There you go.
Isn't this the second time that he's won NFC Defensive Player of the Year this year, too?
I think it is, yeah.
Or of the week?
Yeah. because he said it's the first time that's ever happened for a defensive rookie for the Packers, right? If I remember correctly. So it's wild to think about for sure. And if I kind of read the tea leaves this week and seeing bits and pieces of the pressers, it sounds like they're not interested in having him wear the green dot and him being the true mock all the time, right? But I think I think there's some tongue in cheek to that too, though. I think that's one of those kind of word plays, Matt LaFleur, when he talks about that stuff, and the same with Jeff Hafley, is we've talked about it on here. There is no true mock in this defense. They're very interchangeable with the mock and the will, for sure. Like, for instance, how many times have we shown you where the mock fires and the will plays the seam in Tampa too, right? Yep. Traditionally, that should be the mock's responsibility, but you don't want to be predictable, right?
I want to say we've seen all of our linebackers at the mic at some point.
We absolutely.
McDuffie and Wilson and, Coop and Quay. I think everyone's had their rotation at Mike on occasion.
Mm-hmm. Like Hafley was saying, Coop's played at Sam. He's played at Will. He's a good Will. He's a good Will right now. So why do we have to force him to be a Mike? Yeah, potentially could he do it? Obviously, but we don't need to force that on him. Kids are already learning 2 different things, going through all the training camp. We've done all that. So I'm just happy that he's able to play faster and freer as the season's gone on, right? As it's been expanding, which is cool. The fact that this is his second one, and he did that first one early in the season, not exactly doing great on the defensive side.
Right. AFAM says Cooper is an alien freak. He also going to say solid pick by Goody. I mean, it really was. And again, we had him pretty high on our board, but I think he was our 3rd highest linebacker. Was he not, Emilio? Am I thinking right? Actually, 4th. He was 4th. So we had Junior Colson, Peyton Wilson playing phenomenal with Pittsburgh. Cedric Gray. I haven't heard Cedric Gray's name all year. I wonder if he maybe started banged up. And then, of course, we have Edgerrin Cooper. What about Jeremiah Trotter Jr.? Anybody heard anything from him?
No, he's in Philly, isn't he?
I think he is. Yeah, we haven't heard his name all year long, it seems like. So there we go. Fred McFarley said Gray got hurt. That makes sense. I was wondering why we hadn't.
I thought Trotter Jr. got hurt, too.
That could be
for a little while. Yeah.
Could have been. All right. Here we go. This is what you were talking about earlier, Emilio. We'll hit on this real quick. Matt Steinman tweeted out, first time I've ever heard this, but the Packers name one player each week the, quote, G of the week. Adam Stenavich said it goes to someone who exemplifies what it means to be a Packer and is chosen by Matt LaFleur. Carrington Valentine was last week's G of the week.
Here's the guy.
Let's talk a little Carrington Valentine here, boys. Like Tim said, 7th round pick, played over 900 snaps, I believe it was last year, played a ton of snaps. Didn't play that well, in my opinion, but you didn't see him like giving up explosive play after explosive play. And then, of course, he's been very limited this year, splitting reps with Eric Stokes for the most part. Boy, did he have a breakout game last week. It's going to be hard to continue that kind of 50-50 snap count with Eric Stokes if Jair is indeed on the field. We'll talk injury report here in a second. What do you guys think about Carrington? Let's go around the horn with it, man.
Go ahead, Beer.
Well, I know one thing, and I'm sure, Amelia, maybe you saw this too. They were asking Half what it was like to see CV make that kind of progression. And he said, well, it wasn't surprising whatsoever if you watched him practice that week. Yep. And they're like, well, what do you mean? He goes, the way that he did it, his jams, his route running, his pressing, everything that he did in practice, he was doing it at such a high level that Hafley said there's no way if this carries over into the game that he's not going to have production. And we saw when he had that missed opportunity with the interception. One other follow-up question to Hafley was, how rare is it to see a young cornerback have that opportunity, miss the opportunity, and then have one almost the next play or the very, right. What was it the very next play or 2 plays later? And the situation then he learned clearly from his mistake before. The positioning on that was just really, that's a high IQ football play. He knew, he was aware of where his lower body was. He was aware that he had to turn around and reposition on the ball. Now, the one thing I will say, once you made the catch, buddy, just go down. He had like 6 or 7 decisions not to bring that sucker out. And he's like, nope, I'm going.
Were you screaming, Jacob? Were you screaming at the TV?
Yeah, that was one of those. No. But he held on to the ball, and I was way more excited for Valentine last year, and I think I got a little bit of cold water thrown on me just because rookie year, all that. We definitely saw how raw he was, and we always should have thought that, because as much as I tried to fluff him up, Clayton Mr. Kentucky fan would always be like, he ain't that great, guys. Why don't you just calm down?
Calling it like I seen it last
Yeah,
week.
and he that eventually did catch up, and we saw that, he might be a little more raw than we had hoped. But
right,
a guy going into year 2 now, eventually going into year 3, I'm still pretty excited about it.
I think the thing I like the most about CV, especially with Jair not playing, is his confidence in himself and in his teammates in this system. Being a Packer, tell him he doesn't have good numbers. Tell him he's not a top tier corner. He won't believe it. He won't. You could show him the tape, show him the PFF grades all you want. He's going to go out there every single rep and play like a baller. And with Ja being out, it kind of keeps our defense, even keel. I think you got Keyshawn and Xavier McKinney out there, and then Carrington Valentine in his second year is just playing like an absolute veteran. And, to Clayton's point, just not being a liability is all you got to do, like don't get burned, don't make mistakes. Now you're making plays, you're making high football IQ plays. Oh my gosh. It's just like the sky is the limit now. And to me, it's all attitude and swagger with CV out there in this system.
To Tim, because he, like you said, he's grown. He's come to. He didn't have a lot of opportunities early. As the defense got faster, he wasn't out there getting those reps. So he's trying to catch up, get his reps, and practice how you play. I think that's what Matt preaches to him: offense, defense, special teams, and it really does show up. Because Hafley said that all Edgerrin Cooper does is eat grass, and I absolutely love that. Like the dude is all over the field. And, Rich is saying the same thing with should have had 4 tackles, but with 3 on special teams. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yep. So here is the 2-play sequence last week for Carrington Valentine. You'll notice him at the top of the screen.
Let's go.
And he's going to kick out right here. So this is the pass breakup. Everybody was saying this was a drop interception. I just didn't see it that way. Let's see him get back. You see, bang, batting the ball down, right? Like, again, you could tell he's protecting to the inside. You can see him up here, right? This is Carrington up here. And watch how he plays this, a little half bump at the line, get back, cover the inside. See him shielding the inside, using that boundary as a defender. And then, of course, getting a hand on the ball.
You see how he takes that first step in before the receiver does?
Yep.
He plants that foot early, making that first initiation rather than letting the receiver dictate everything off the snap. And I love it.
Yeah, the big thing that sticks out to me with Carrington, and especially this year, is his body control. And again, he was playing to the inside, recognize it, jumps, gets a hand outside to bat the ball down right here. Just an excellent play, man. Excellent.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call that a drop pick. Maybe catchable. Maybe you could have picked it, but I'll take the PBU all day.
The peripheral vision to be able to keep an eye on the dude as you're backpedaling, retreating, knowing where he's at on, running up your back.
Yeah, and of course, here's the interception. You'll notice Jackson Smith-Njigba is going to kick outside. Keyshawn's going to pass him off to Carrington, then change his mind and go out and actually cover Jackson Smith-Njigba. So this is straight man coverage across the board. You'll see Key kind of points. Then he goes, oh, no, that's 11. I got him. So now Carrington Valentine's in here. This is man coverage. Noah Fant is being covered, man coverage by Evan Williams. You've got Carrington Valentine covering the slot, and then Jackson Smith-Njigba, who's actually lined up wide as the Z on this specific snap. Watch Carrington and how he's going to play that fisheye technique. Ball snapped, he's man coverage, but look, immediately gets his head back, right? So he's got eyes on the quarterback, and the ball is going out here to the corner to Noah Fant, going to be butt naked through the trailer park. He cooks Evan Williams on this play. But watch Carrington Valentine. Recognize it, flip. Let's go get it. Now, right here.
Because he's seeing it before it happens, right? That's why. That's all anticipation, man.
It's exactly what it is, man. Look at this. It's a great job, man. Great job. Cover your guy, take the ball away from another. And then right here's what we were talking about. This is when I said, get on the effing ground. What are you doing? And then right here, I went, okay, we're good. All right, yeah, we're good. No big deal. No big deal. I wasn't freaking out. What are y'all talking about?
Yeah, right.
So let's watch it from the end zone, Cam. A little bit harder to see, but man, just a great job making a play on this ball. And the communication too, man. That's something that was not there. Like how many times this year have you seen guys throw their arms up at each other? Like, I thought you had him, like there's been very little miscommunication.
Yeah, a handful of times, maybe. We were seeing that multiple times per game last year.
Yeah, for sure. And again, look at the pressure pick is what we're talking about.
Yep.
It's a great job getting pressure in Geno's face and Carrington making a
Into
mistake.
that communication play, Hafley was saying, he's like, some of our calls are kind of long. I got to get that into Quay or Eric, whoever wearing that dot. And for me to get that in there, them to make the call while I'm still in his ear telling him, hey, make this check. I think this could happen here. Also kick this over to the nickel. Like, there's so much more that's going on out there. And the fact that, like you said, no communication errors that we've seen really. No one's standing there like, hey, can I get a call? What do you want me to play? Zone, man, what? So that really is awesome that we've hammered that stuff out. Those are the little things that we took for granted, or we're taking, could take for granted this year just because we haven't had to deal with it so much.
Yep. Yeah. Nothing wrong with leaving your man and making a play when you know that your man's not getting the ball, right? You're 100% right. Trust your read, go make a play. I love it.
So true. Ron Samwell in the chat says, I love how Hafley explains exactly how much is involved in wearing the dot. Makes me respect Quay. Again, it's why they don't just slap the green dot on anyone, right? And you guys remember Quay's rookie year, Devondre Campbell wore the green dot, right?
Right. Yep.
And then Quay's second year, they gave him the green dot.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, this year it's continuing on there with him having the green dot. And last week with Quay going out of the game, you guys say it was Eric Wilson, right? He pretty much took the majority of the snaps. Says a lot about him too. So
yeah, I forgot what he called him? Bobby Wilson or something. I think Bisaccia called him that in his.
Did he really?
Yeah, in his presser.
That's awesome.
He was just saying having nicknames like Frosty for him. It adds something to it.
Definitely. Chris in the chat says Zach Bond might be an All-Pro linebacker in Philly, having a hell of a year. That's a Wisconsin boy, right? Am I thinking right, boys?
Oh yeah. Leo Chenal's doing pretty good in KC as well.
Yep. I remember you talking about him come draft time. You were real big on Leo Chenal that year.
Troy Anderson's doing all right in Atlanta as well. That was another guy. Yeah.
So they need to redo that documentary and not call it running back U. It needs to be a linebacker U, right? Let's go. Turning out some pro talent. Y'all got quiet on that one. 2-0 for this says Spencer Rattler will win G of the week this week. I like this comment.
Yeah, for most completions to Packer defenders. I'll give him that.
I could see it happening. It's going to be interesting to see how Spencer Rattler plays. It really is. Because, again, he's got great arm talent.
Who?
I thought he played pretty well last week. Like I said, let them down on the game. What should have been the game-tying drive. They chose to go for 2. Right. And obviously that falls incomplete. So, I don't know, Emilio. You probably watched a good chunk of that game. Maybe you guys did too. I felt like Spencer Rattler played pretty darn good in that game.
Yeah, I think him being able to come out and play like that against a good Commanders team or a decent Commanders team, at least with a quarterback of their own. I would have gone for 2 as well. I mean, what else do you have to lose? So I'm not mad at that. They almost pulled the comeback off. If you push it to overtime, you never know. But, let's go out there and get the win, and he can carry him. He got him up and down the field. I think that says a lot for a young QB. And like Kenny was saying in his interview, with the young QBs, ideally, we just want to keep them in the pocket, keep them in the well, keep them stuck in there. Let's let the coverage kind of do their work. The pass rush will get there. The issue is if he gets outside on the ground, if he starts using his legs, it could be the big problem. That's all I'm looking for from the defense this week.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Actually, there was another one in here. What was it? Where was it at? I know I've seen another comment I wanted to hit on here.
I got a question because I can't highlight the comments. Jake Cole says that apparently Campbell quit in JUCO as well. I can't tell. Is that a joke, or did you actually find? Because I could see that happening. Not that we have to relitigate, the Devondre Campbell stuff, but I tell you what,
he's got a track record, man. There's no doubt about that.
Here's a guy I don't want on my team.
Yes,
everything in all of his life is always somebody else's fault, and he's finally back to loving football though. Until he's not,
Sit your butt outside.
Go out of here. See someone we hope makes it inside or outside, seeing that we're playing outside on Mondays. Jair Alexander. Rob Demoski says Jair Alexander on the practice field for the second straight day. Same 2 did not participate were Javon Bullard and Quay Walker, both with ankle injuries. Walker was wearing a boot. So I think we all probably feel pretty comfortable saying neither of those 2 guys are going to play. Jair Alexander, once again, full participation, just like last week. The question will be, can he pass the speed test? And I'm sure they'll hit him with that a little later in the week because they hit him with that. It was after practice Friday, or no, that he was declared out pretty early Friday, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was the last practice. Yep.
Yeah, so it's okay. There you go. So the last practice this week should be Saturday, I believe, if I remember correctly.
Right.
So Matt was saying I think Matt was saying in his presser that they'll definitely have a better opportunity today to see if he hits that number once he goes back and looks at it, just because of the snow yesterday. But he did say that he'll definitely take a look at Ja.
Yeah.
And Musgrave, I think, as well.
Jair Alexander, full participation again. Corey Ballantyne, limited participation again. Like I said, Javon Buller, Quay Walker, both did not participate. And, of course, Luke Musgrave is listed as limited, as we're roughly, somewhere between 7 to 10 days into that 21-day window where they can activate him. As far as the Saints side with the injury list here, the only thing that changed was Kool-Aid McKinstry was limited on Thursday, and then he was not listed on Friday, which I imagine means he's good to go, right?
Oh,
yeah. So MVS did not participate again. Chase Young did not participate. Bub Means did not participate. Alvin Kamara did not participate.
Bub Means, you went to high school with a Bub Means, didn't you, Clay?
I did actually. He's a garbage man back home. It does sound like that, to be honest with you. Had a couple guys named Bub Means on Sand Hill, Kentucky. You guys don't know where Sand Hill is. Good for you. We'll leave it. So anything you guys want to hit on with the injury report here? To me, it seems like everything pretty straightforward. Of course, the thing that's not listed here is they already named Spencer Rattler the starting quarterback this week, right? So you guys have the floor. Anything at all with the injuries?
Fingers crossed for Jair, man. Playing the waiting game again. Hope he's back, man. Hope he's back.
Yeah. I hope to the sweet Lord baby Jesus that we don't have to play against Marquez Valdez-Scantling. He is a soul snatcher. And talk about no teams have went deep on us. Well, guess what? MVS is coming back to town, guys. So if we don't have Jair, I'm afraid we're going to get cooked. What did Kenny, him and Kenny used to go back and forth with each other and make fun of each other so much. And Kenny had a name for him. Like he called him like a little turd or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, MVS?
Yeah. MVS, right? Oh, my God. They were the best, dude.
I wish I could bring that up. Oh, that'd be such a good, like if a fan put that on a big sign for MVS, welcome back, you little turd, or something like whatever it was.
I'm going to try to find a tweet. You guys talk for a second. Keep hitting on these injuries. I got to find this where MVS roasted him on Thanksgiving. It is.
What do you think about Kamara not playing? Because that would be, to me, if I'm a Saints fan, that would worry me more than anything.
Yeah, I just wouldn't want him hurt. I think we were saying the other night, if he's in that rough of shape, let's not throw him out there for our fourth win or whatever they're chasing right now. So I'd rather save his legs. But yeah, the Kenny MVS thing is hilarious. Like if you have that buddy and you had that buddy in the locker room that you're always cutting on, even when they were doing Christian Watson's interview, they go, "Yeah, how's the weather out there? It was cold." And the players in the background were just, chirping him, but yeah, it's cold as, out there, like, and everyone's laughing and stuff. And that's that fun, brotherhood that you get. And you miss that sometimes when you go to different teams.
God, these are gold, man.
Did you find it?
I hit a pocket. I can't find the dinner one. We'll look for it here in a second. Let me get this up on the screen, though. It's going to be worth your time, I promise. This is what happens when Jacob returns, by the way. Everything goes off the damn rails. We're going to blame him tonight, right? That's
sorry, guys.
So, let's see here. So this is I just typed in MVS's Twitter handle and Kenny Clark. And look at this. Look at Kenny said that's what MVS. Gold.
Here's the guy.
We got this one right here, right? This is my favorite, though. It's coming up. Not that one. This one. And this looked like this is what you look like. Remember CJ from Grand Theft Auto? Kenny said that MVS looks like this guy, and I see it.
That's a main character from San Andreas, right?
Yeah. Yes. Was his name CJ? Am I thinking right?
Yeah, I think so.
It's hilarious, man. I figured there'd be some other good ones in here too. Of course, what's this? Is he talking trash right here? Making fun of it. But he added, if you're winning and having fun, never mind. All right, cool.
See, that's how you can tell there's good chemistry and guys get along when they're teammates, right? The more they rib each other and talk a little trash.
So this was Kenny Clark roasting Zadarius Smith. It said, "Welcome back, ashy ass boy." Look at him.
That's terrible.
Oh, I love it, man.
Oh boy,
Kenny's the man, no doubt, man.
Yeah, he is.
We want to see him obviously succeed. The one I was trying to find was it. Maybe it was he said hopping him up. Let me type in hopping. This is the last shot here because it's going to be worth it. I'm telling you, man.
I think going back to what Jacob was saying about Kamara not playing, talking about the Saints, if they're going to be down in their rushing attack, and you got this Spencer Rattler starting at quarterback, and you're playing for basically, nothing but pride at this point, I would think the Saints are going to probably try and push the ball down the field. They're going to attempt to do it. I think they're going to try to throw the ball and test our secondary. Jair Alexander in the mix or not. I don't know. What do you guys think?
yeah, I think weather permitting, like if it is coming down, they might not have a choice with it and maybe dial it back a bit. But what was that? The backup running back there, younger guy. What the hell is his name? Keandre Miller. He's good and he's shifty. He reminds me a lot of kind of like an Aaron Jones type back where he's not just shifty. He's a lot more well-rounded than people give him credit for. And I forgot. I didn't know if you guys noticed this. I thought that Alvin Kamara had been in the league for like 20 years. He's 29.
Yeah.
And also we might get ourselves a healthy dose of our favorite anime fan, Jamal Williams.
Jamal Williams.
That's right.
Could be. I
He's a
can't.
man, though. I loved him. He really was a
great.
good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
for sure.
anybody listening to my voice can find the tweet where it's something where MVS said hopping up Kenny going into Thanksgiving dinner, bro, it's got this huge human being in just nothing but an apron. And there's a guy behind him like hopping him up. It's gold anyway. You'd have to see it. So, guys, can we be professional for just a second, for God's sakes? What's wrong?
On the rails.
Says the guy looking for dudes in an apron.
Yes.
Just saying. All right, so we hit on the Jair Alexander news, right? Here you see Jair at practice too, man. Seemed pretty upbeat, right? Cody Krupp tweeted out, if only judging body language and smiles, Packers Jair Alexander looks like a guy ready to get back at it Monday night. So obviously he's always bringing the energy, but it kind of felt like this last week too. We've seen it in a couple drills. Remember Emilio where he spun around backwards to pick the pass? I was like, hey, look at Jair. Jair's looking good and healthy.
Little explosiveness out of him. I mean, hey, that we haven't seen him in a little bit. Anything that you can see that he feels 100% or he feels like he's ready to go. The old job, all that. I mean, right
Let's
here.
go. Give me more of it.
Took it down the sideline, turned over with my guys, gave the football to a little kid wearing 23.
Bingo.
Love it.
All right, that's pretty much it. So there is your walk across Twitter.
There's your dagger right there.
Probably be wrapping up here soon. But is there anything else you guys want to hit on? You think we should dive into maybe a little PFF preview, take it for another 20 minutes or so, and we'll call it a night? What do you think?
Yeesh.
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
Because I wrote down a bunch of just stuff because, again, it had been so long since me and the boys had talked, and
a little football talk, a little coffee talk.
So is it coffee talk? Talk amongst yourselves. So I wrote down like a couple storylines that I thought were not unbelievable to me, that were shocking compared to where we last talked, which is, again, 6-8 weeks ago, wherever it was. One was the resurgence, the absolute star power of Josh Jacobs, which I'm sure you guys have covered. One that I thought maybe we could get into just real briefly because I want to hear what you guys are thinking as far as going into the draft. The O-line success. I don't know what your thoughts are. To me, Myers is playing like he deserves to get another contract. Ryan came out of left field. The guys from that draft class right now, Rasheed Walker, Ryan, and Myers, I'm cool with it, baby. This is the first time in a long time where we have a running and pass blocking dynamic duo here on the offensive line. And guys like Zach Tom and Elton Jenkins are just exactly who we thought they were, as long as those other pieces were just playing decent ball, submitting C type papers. We don't need you to be A+ students. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, just passable. And now I'd argue these guys are playing C+, B- type football, and I'm cool with that, man.
C's get degrees, Jacob. And
yes,
I mean, that's all we need to do. If we can have a wall, all we need to do, build that wall in front of J-Love. How long have we been talking about this? If you got your two corner posts of Walker and Tom, Myers hammer it down, the inside we can work with. And honestly, I think they really do come together as a unit rather than, individually looking at them. they've been getting up to the second level. They've been able to engage in linebackers, turn guys. We haven't had to hammer this, the inside zone or the split flow all the time because they're actually getting drive and reach and all of that. So I'm just happy with where the coaches have them and where they've been working to get to.
And then you build that wall, right? And you got to have like good security around your wall. So you got Tuck Norris coming over with the SIF block, sealing that edge. Good things happening on this O-line. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
Boys. Shout out to the MVP, the real MVP, and that's United Bates.
I saw that. What up, Bates?
He found it. All right, brace yourself. This is MVS. He says, me hopping up KC about that live for Thanksgiving dinner. You ready for this, boys? Brace yourself. Here it comes. Oh, man.
That's too much.
That is great.
That's too much.
There's a lot of extra movement there.
Look at that grill.
You got that Walmart special grill right there for sure.
I'm afraid we're going to get hit with a copyright.
Yeah, right?
That's Clayton when Mandy tells him he can go to the buffet a second time.
Hey, I'll tell you what, man. I'm just a couple corn dogs away from looking like that myself, so we'll just take that off the screen. All right, that's going right now. But thank you, Bates, for sharing that. I knew I didn't imagine that, so appreciate that. Now, as far as the Josh Myers talk, Jacob, it's been a topic we've talked about a lot on this show, man. I don't think he gets another I don't think he gets another contract. I would not re-sign him. I've let him test the market. If you can get him back at less than $3 million per, sure, bring him back. But I think if he hits the open market, he's going to get a pretty good contract. And I just don't see it being worth it. I would much rather put someone else who's on the roster, kick them to center. My opinion, it should be Elton Jenkins. That way you get Jordan Morgan and Sean Ryan on the field together playing guard. That's just kind of the way I see it. Now, PFF, obviously, they have him graded out at a 53.7. Now, we know that the run blocking has been a big topic of discussion this season in terms of, how PFF is grading them out. So when you look at Josh Myers' grade breakdown, pass blocking 63.1, run blocking 50.6 this year. So, again, man, I can't justify it. With that being said, I would not be surprised, though, if Goody does re-sign him. Right. I mean, they like their guys. It is what it is. Now, he's coming off his best week of the season, right, guys? Didn't he grade out this was one of his best games, or was it last week, Amelia? I'm trying to remember. Was it last week?
I want to say it was last week, but I can look real quick. But yeah, no, I mean, remember, the dude still has to snap the ball between his legs, get upfield, engage in his blocks. Like, it's not like it's not at like every other position on the line, and it's not a drop step every time. There's a lot that goes into it, but yeah, I'm with you, Clay. If we have a guy on the roster that we like better, if it's Monk, if it's Myers, whoever it is, then I'm out there. But right now, I'm happy with Myers. I think we run with it. I think you take it as far as he can go. He already knows the calls. He already knows where, that's big. He's already noticed Jordan. It's not like they need to, you practice snaps. If someone gets hurt, you start fumbling snaps. All that stuff we've avoided with him being, reliable in there.
Yeah. No, I think that is huge. Like, you would have to teach a new offensive player, specifically center, the offense, Jordan's cadence, them getting on the same page. That's why I feel like it's got to be a guy in-house rather than go draft a center, right? You're probably drafting an interior offensive lineman to help fill out depth at some point in the draft. And it could be a first rounder because the draft board falls just perfectly. It could be someone like Harrington Valentine you pick up in the 6th or 7th that ends up being a solid backup player too, right?
I was wrong. It was you were right. Last week against Seattle, he had a 76-1 overall, 77 in pass blocking, 73 run blocking. The week before, he had a 44-7 with 13 in pass blocking, 56 in run blocking. But we also know that 13 or whatever in pass blocking was that dude getting a jump, reading the snap count. So it wasn't all on Josh. It just, he takes the brunt of that.
Yeah. What Coach Lynn says
so fast, don't they? He's come such a long way since snap the effing ball, Josh.
Yeah. He really has. Coach Lynn says, I say this, you can't find a center with Myers' size or size or the athleticism either, Coach. Like,
you can get to that second level.
It's unbelievable. Yeah. It's just like when he gets there, he just has a brain fart, It's like he doesn't, you know what I mean? It's exactly what what Mike Wall talked about, right? You can be this big, bad bully with perfect measurables and great IQ and the physical ability to get to the next level. But if you don't get there under control and with the proper technique, it doesn't matter. You've lost before you even arrive. So
what do you think, like what Coach Len says here? He goes, Myers is just not as consistent as we need him to be. These last games will say a lot as if he comes back, which I think is
that's a very, very good point, man.
Yep.
I really
totally
do.
accurate.
Yeah, for sure.
Because if he finishes this season strong, then you've got that argument, right? Like, hey,
right,
a little shaky early on, but man, did he finish, consistently. But if he's up and down the board again to close out the year, yeah, it's going to be a tough decision to make.
Right. Coach also said best pulling center I have seen and wish he could play at guard. I don't mind that either. If we know if it's Elton and Myers, they both have to flip positions. Sure, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I will say we got a glimpse of Elton at center this year. It was not super exciting.
Mino like you that one.
Mino like you that. I like Elton at left guard, man. I really do. I hope if it's not Josh at center, then who knows? Might be Jordan Morgan at center for all we know next year.
Okay, Tim.
That would be interesting too, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
The one person I don't want at center is Zach Tom. Leave him out there on that edge, please.
Yeah, for sure.
And there was a time, probably quarter of the way through the year last year, that I would have been like, hey, let's make him. To me, center is more important than tackle at right tackle, in my opinion. Obviously, blindside tackle, top priority, then center, then would be right tackle, in my opinion. But man, after seeing the way Zach Thomas dominated at right tackle, I want him. I want him there for sure. When we look at the Saints defense real quick, this is their nickel defense. So you've got Chase Young, who's obviously banged up. A good chance he won't play, right? 2-0 for this says the worst thing about Prism was Elton Jenkins at center. All right, so Chase Young obviously probably won't be in the lineup, but they've got him listed as 63.9. Here's O'Brien Breesy. You guys remember him from the draft, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Was it last year?
Yeah, 223.
Yeah, so not this past draft, but the one before, right? 23.
Yeah.
So first round pick, 30th pick overall. Seemed like he had a really good, measurables and everything as far as the combine goes. But run defense grade 28.3.
That's pretty bad.
That's kind of bad. It's kind of bad. Overall defensive grade of 37.8, but threw up on my boots there. Woo! Cam Jordan may have hit the wall.
You pooped my hands, so.
What? That's right, Coach. Jacob hasn't heard that.
Welcome back, Jacob.
PFF is struggling, but Cam Jordan is too, boys. 56.1. Is this the last year? Because Cam's well over 30, right?
I was going to say, is he getting retirement benefits yet? Or
he should be drawing Social Security. So, we kidding? There's no Social Security left. Right? So yeah, Cam Jordan. I've never seen him graded this low. 56.1. He's the 89th graded edge defender. They've got him listed as an edge. Now he's one of those guys that can play 3-tech and that wide 9 look. And of course, Granderson's probably their best defender on the defensive line at an 82.1. He's the 16th highest graded edge defender. That's really the only guy you got to focus on. On the Saints defensive front there. When you go to the linebacker position, I think is that Demario Davis? I don't know why this isn't loading, man. PFF is turning into absolute trash.
Demario Davis, that's another dude been around the block a few times, huh?
Still grading out strong, too, 73.0, the 17th highest graded linebacker in the league. Then you got Werner at a 68 there in the middle. When you look at their cornerback room, Kool-Aid McKinstry grading out as a 66.9, 49th amongst cornerbacks. Pretty decent year there. Amadi at a 65.3 in the slot. Then you got Taylor on the opposite side at a 44.9. I know which one I'm picking on there, fellas. It's going to be Taylor for sure, as there's only 2 cornerbacks that are grading out worse than Taylor there with his 44.9. Now, when you look at the safeties, you got Honey Badger 59.9, and then you've got Harris at a 60.1. So outside of Davis and Granderson, this is a pretty mediocre defense, right? At least from PFF standards. What do you guys think about the grades here and how we may want to attack?
Am I mistaken? But I thought that the best part of their defense was their pass defense, as far as where their rankings are. Which
No, I think you're right. I think they were they were 12 or 13 or something like that, maybe 15, middle of the row in pass defense, but it was just their run defense that was like 30th.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Something about this game just tells me, I mean, the situation, the scenario, not trying to get too many guys hurt unnecessarily. You know, the Packers are pretty much, you know, I'm going to knock on wood, even though I think if they lose this game, their chance of making the playoffs goes from like 97% to 95%. You know what I mean? All that stuff being said, the weather, I just feel like it's a Josh Jacobs pound it down your throat.
Yes.
Just absolute.
Tim said yes.
Yes.
Just have him begging for mercy. Just
we
please.
need to do to the Saints exactly what Detroit did to us. You know, I don't care. Turn Jordan into a check down merchant for the day. I don't care. Keep it on the ground. Keep it short and simple and fast. Move the ball methodically, put points on the board, play good defense, and get out of there with a win and no injuries. That's all I want out of this game.
Just pound the rock, go up good 3 scores, pull the starters right away in the 4th, and just coast into the playoffs, baby.
Try to flash some cocks out there at the edge. And somebody had that one keyed up.
Hey, that was one of the loudest that I did yell. You guys would be so proud of me if you've watched me watch these games the last like 6 to 7 weeks. I'm calm, I'm collected. Every now and then I will swear, I will let out a slur, but it's not anywhere. I am telling you, I got a new Jacob watching these games. But when Cox, when I saw Cox fire, oh boy, I went thick. I was going. You have to admit he has progressed, right? I'm not crazy. It went exactly. Don't look at me that way, Jeff. Staring into my soul.
Tim is on fire tonight.
You're an amazing person. You know that, don't you?
Oh God, you hurt me, Brett.
Oh, God.
So New Orleans scoring defense is 13th in the league at 22.3. See, the chat's out of control. I'm just going to ignore the chat now. 22.3 points per game. All right. When we look at their scoring defense, you asked specifically about the defense, Jacob. Points per play, the New Orleans Saints are actually not at 0.342. All right. So let's see which aspect of their defense is the strongest. Rushing defense. Let's go yards per rush attempt. They are currently, New Orleans, as we slide down here.
Oh, they're not good.
30th at 4.9. Yucky.
That's terrible.
It is terrible, Chuck. And then let's go to passing defense. I'm pretty sure passing was kind of mediocre, and it was their rush defense that was horrible is how I remember it. So they're probably somewhere in the middle of the pack, I would imagine. Yeah, 20th at 6.9 yards per pass attempt is where they sit. So, again, man, everything screams run the freaking ball, right? There's no two ways about it. So there you go. There's a little preview into what to expect from the Saints game. And, again, we'll dive into it a little bit deeper tomorrow. We may go a little deeper into NFL Pro insights, stuff like that, maybe look at some of their explosive plays, although probably not too many out there, to be honest with you. So what is your problem, Emilio?
Nothing. Nothing. It was a good show, man. I'm glad Jacob's back.
I'm telling you, we miss you, buddy. We've missed you a lot, and hopefully you get to make it back in more often. I know the schedule's a little hectic, but anytime you want to hop on, you got the link, and it goes better with you in here, man, no doubt.
You heard it from a fan right here.
I got to get my upgrade, though. You guys are all festive, rocking the holiday spirit. I look like Scrooge over here. Bah humbug.
You heard me, Brett.
Wait, is that from what's his name, Mark or whatever his name is?
Yeah.
Oh, bro, you cut that? Of course, you cut that.
You heard me, Brett.
Only about
65%.
65%. That's what we got all kinds of new toys in here. Jay. This is my favorite, right?
How dare you?
Get that off the screen. I don't want to look at that bum anymore.
That was me on the toilet after Thanksgiving.
All right, guys, we're out. We will be back tomorrow morning as the Notre Dame Fighting Irish just came out of the tunnel. We're ready to kick off here in South Bend. Hopefully they can get a dub tonight against Indiana. Indiana's going to be pissed, though. I ain't going to lie, man. Their coach is fiery, so can't rule those guys out. We'll be back in the morning, 8:30 Central Time, a.m.
What up, Murph? How you doing, Murph?
That's right. Murph in the house for Good Morning Lambeau, 8:30 Central. Anybody who's available other than Emilio because he'll be asleep, you guys hop on here.
In that race car bed, that sweet race car bed.
Yeah, I got the wheels off. I used the Milwaukee Impact to get those off, and now I'm just swapping them, and I'll get to it.
Nice. Do a little tire dressing, get them all hooked
the
up.
shine.
Yeah, man. There you go.
That's right. All right. That's it, guys. Appreciate y'all. See you in the morning. Everybody have a wonderful evening. Stay safe out there if you're bar hopping like A-Fam. I know he is with that mustache. You're kidding me. Bye.
Here we go.
Bye, guys.